program deals with things of an adult nature and is intended for a mature audience.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside of this world.
In the guard against the military-industrial complex, exopolitics, paranormal phenomena, and deep analysis of current world events. From somewhere in the desert, between Area 51 and Roswell, blasting across the planet, the Manticore Network proudly presents Fairy Tales, because the truth will set you free.
Deadline edition, July 8, 1937. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
I'm as mad as hell, but I'm not going to take this anymore! The power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty!
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Sooner or later, though, you always have to wake up.
Be skeptical, but don't close your mind.
Hello, this is Wayne Barboza again at www.capeverdean.net, your #1 Cape Verdean news channel on alternate radio. Alternative radio is what you don't hear on TV and what you don't see in the newspapers and magazines. As we know, we don't have too much time for all that anyway. We're so wrapped up when we get home, we just want entertainment and relaxation. So we don't know what's going on, and I try my best to get the word out there. That's what part of this project is all about. All right, well, today we're going to skip the phone calls and interviews, and I want you to listen to some information that came to Rhode Island First Fatherhood, one of our subscribers. As you know, we get subscribers from all over the world, and we interview each other, they interview us. This is how we know what's going on in the world. Today, our biggest problem, besides all the tornadoes that are kicking butt here, May 25th of 2011, they had about 60, 70 tornadoes one day, and a couple days later, another 60, 70, talking about 1,500 people unaccounted for and hundreds of dead. This is right in the middle of America. And we know that the problems over there, the volcanic eruptions, and this is not conspiracy, this is real deal. Flights, interrupted, or people stuck again, just like a few years ago when the Norwegian volcano up there erupted. It did it again. We know it's flooding. It's still going straight through down to Mississippi to Louisiana. People, thousands of people lost everything. It's gone. National Guard had to break the dikes and everything. And we know Fukushima or whatever, Japan, their radioactive blast through their nuclear blast after their earthquake and tsunami. Well, let's get away from there and see what this guy has to say, because I don't like this talk.
The situation we are facing in the world today has been created by design, and it has become what we perceive as reality simply because most people are unaware of the true nature of reality or have any real understanding of how this world is actually run. It continues to this day due to the fact that the only information that most people receive comes from newspapers or the television. And it needs to be made clear to everyone that the mainstream media will never inform people as to the real facts surrounding anything. It is simply not what the media is designed to do. The mainstream media has little or nothing to do with keeping people informed, and everything to do with controlling the flow of information and shaping the thoughts, beliefs and opinions of the populace. These institutions simply present theory and propaganda as fact and promote ridicule toward anyone questioning them. It is a very cleverly constructed system, but once you have figured out how to see through the haze of propaganda, the real truths become painfully obvious. But still, many people fail to see through the haze, and so now we find the entire human race facing a most precarious situation. The first step in remedying this situation, the first step in regaining an understanding of reality and of our true connection to it, is to free ourselves from the control mechanisms of the physical world. And the way to achieve this is for each individual on this planet to stand up and to reclaim their birthright. Do you think everything happening in the world today is normal? Do you consider the path humanity is currently treading to simply be a natural progression? Do you think the war on terror is real? Open your mind and open your eyes. Notice the continuing illegal invasions. Notice the continual removal of your rights. Notice the anti-humanitarian legislation being enacted by our governments, and understand that this situation simply cannot continue without the acceptance and passive compliance of the people. So stop complying with it, because the prison door is now swinging shut. The governments and police that we have employed to protect us have visibly stepped from their path. No longer do police act in the capacity of peace officers. Now they are simply hired thugs of governments that have long since ceased to act in the best interests of the people. And the fact that in modern times many police officers and also many soldiers are actually brainwashed enough to unquestioningly enforce any piece of corrupt legislation handed to them rather than arresting the criminals who gave the orders indicates a grave danger to the people. This is why it is so important for public awareness of the real issues facing humanity, because with public awareness we can quite easily turn things around and create a peaceful and empowered society. It is also why it is so important for police to wake up to themselves and start actually doing their job of protecting the citizens rather than defending elitist corruption and undermining the security of their nation, which is what they are currently doing. Unfortunately for the people, most modern police officers have forgotten that they are people too, and that the perceived power of these individuals lies in the uniform, not in the pawn that is wearing it. These police officers are removing their own rights as well, and ultimately it comes down to the people to stop this occurring. One really cannot blame the puppet leaders, nor even the criminal banksters that control them, because ultimately it's all happening simply because the people are going along with it. It's all about free will. It's all about whether you choose to allow this situation to continue, or whether you choose to shake off the TV-induced apathy, spread the word, and stand up and say no. What we are experiencing in this reality is freedom of choice. So step away from the fear, because it is truly time for people to understand the real power that they have. Turn your back on the TV, shake off the fear mentality, and stand up and say no. Come to the realization that we are not numbers, we are not consumers, we are sovereign people, and the governments are our elected servants. Understand where their position in the hierarchy actually lies. The government serves the people do not serve the government. And with public awareness of the true dilemma facing humanity, we can quite peacefully and very easily rectify things. One may pause to wonder how we ever let it get this far. How did we ever let the world fall into the situation it is now in? The entire system is completely corrupt. It is corrupt in every single way. Wars are created by design. Whole nations are decimated for the sake of corporate interests. Our food is poisoned with toxins. Our water supply is filled with toxic waste under the pretext of it keeping our teeth healthy. Whole countries are brought to their knees for the sake of profit, while most people fail to even admit that there's a problem. People spend their lives in the collecting of meaningless trinkets or in self-improvement, while ignoring everything that goes on around them, and believing the world is the way it's portrayed on the television, the way it looks in magazines. Many focus on the divisions among people and what they perceive to be different about others from themselves, rather than on the similarities. The essence in each of us that remains at the core, the essence that connects us to each other, the essence that makes us all the same. And people wait to ascend to a higher consciousness, or to be delivered into salvation by a Saviour, without ever having to take responsibility for themselves. And they still fail to see that there's a problem. People scoff at the idea that fluoride is a neurotoxin, and yet the world is being strip-mined and depopulated around them. Government corruption is rife, the whole system is rotten to the core, and still no one sees that there's a problem. And now, with the introduction of genetically modified food and seed patenting, we are seeing a situation arise which has the potential to destroy the entire food chain on this planet. And all of this is occurring simply because we, the people, are allowing it to happen. One may pause to ask, exactly in whose interests is it to destroy the entire food chain? Why is our earth being strip-mined around us? And why is such a massive amount of depopulation occurring? One may even pause to question, who is really in charge here?
For the first time in human history, for the first time in all of human history, almost all of mankind is politically awake. And these new and old major powers face still yet another novel reality, in some respects unprecedented. And it is that while the lethality of their power is greater than ever, their capacity to impose control over the politically awakened masses of the world is at a historical low. I once put it rather pungently, and I was flattered that the British Foreign Secretary repeated this, as follows. Namely, in earlier times, it was easier to control a million people. Literally, it was easier to control a million people than physically to kill a million people. Today, it is infinitely easier to kill a million people than to control a million people. It is easier to kill than to control.
Humanity is indeed facing challenging times. There is absolutely no denying the fact of this. It is all around us. Wars, terrorism, famine, disease, corruption, homelessness, the end of the central banking pyramid scheme currently manifesting itself as the global financial crisis. Climate change the media tries to teach us is man-made, despite a wealth of scientific evidence to the contrary. And there are many other things besides. Even in this film, I've mentioned some of the challenges we are facing from the very governments and police forces we have employed to protect us. And who, through the use of a controlled media, have slowly worked to convince people that they are our rulers, when they are in fact our servants. Yet despite all the problems we face, any investigation reveals that all of these issues have a common cause. and that this cause can very easily be addressed. All that is needed to do so is public awareness of the real situation humanity is facing. In fact, when one puts away the fear, stands back, and looks deep enough, it can be seen that all of these challenges actually present mankind with a most wonderful opportunity. Perhaps the greatest we have ever had offered to us. Indeed, such challenges as those we currently face may even be seen as something of a blessing, for were it not for the challenges, the opportunity we now have would never have presented itself to us. And it truly is being handed to us on a silver platter. What we have been provided with is an opportunity to embrace the power of life.
Hello, this is Wayne Barboza again at www.capeverdean.net, your number one Cape Verdean news channel on alternate radio. Alternative radio is what you don't hear on TV and what you don't see in the newspapers and magazines. As we know, we don't have too much time for all that anyway. We're so wrapped up when we get home, we just want entertainment and relaxation. So we don't know what's going on, and I try my best to get the word out there. That's what part of this project is all about. Alright, well, today we're going to skip the phone calls and interviews, and I want you to listen to some information that came to Rhode Island First Fatherhood, one of our subscribers. As you know, we get subscribers from all over the world, and we interview each other, they interview us. This is how we know what's going on in the world. Today, our biggest problem, besides all the tornadoes that are kicking butt here, in May 25th of 2011, they had about 60, 70 tornadoes one day, and a couple of days later, another 60, 70, talking about 1,500 people unaccounted for and hundreds of dead. This is right in the middle of America. And we know we got the problems over there, the volcanic eruption. And this is not conspiracy. This is real deal. Flights, interrupted, and people stuck again, just like a few years ago when the Norwegian volcano up there erupted. It did it again. We know it's flooding still, going straight through down the Mississippi to Louisiana. People, thousands of people lost everything. It's gone. National Guard had to break the dikes.
During and after, and immediately after World War II. There are other positive things that can come about through declassifying these technologies. In terms of chronovision, imagine going to a virtual library or museum where rather than looking at a painting or opening up a book to read about the signing of the U.S. Constitution, you can look at a hologram where it would be rendered in moving three-dimensional images. Why should I and the other people who were brought inside Project Pegasus be the only human beings inspired to study and appreciate history as a result of having the opportunity to see such images? Why shouldn't every school child around the world be able to see the living past by being able to go into a museum or library in their country where you can literally pull up images and see William Shakespeare writing one of his plays, or Cicero giving a speech, or the Polish infantry, fighting their way up Mount Cassini during the Battle of Italy. Okay, there are a multiplicity of inspiring scenes in history that are infinitely available, perpetually available, and infinite in number to inspire society, particularly school children, in all that the human past has held. Now, with those opportunities comes obvious constraints. For example, with teleportation and other forms of time travel, we don't want to allow it to society at large to have general access to it, because the timelines would all become chaotic. If people could visit the past as regularly as they can go on a summer vacation, everybody's going to have an impact on the timelines, and with enough people doing that, we're going to have basically quantum chaos. Right. My time travel research and the story of my quest to go back and determine what happened on Project Pegasus and bring it forward to the present is at www.projectpegasus.net, and that will continue to grow. I'll continue to put more information up there about my experiences and about time travel, and describe the devices and so forth. My Mars research is at www.projectmars.net, and I'm trying to be eclectic there and just put up the best of my findings and the findings of other prominent Mars anomaly researchers. But these are two areas where the U.S. government has been concealing the nature of our cosmos from human civilization, and that's why I'm focusing on those two areas. Mars is inhabited. The NASA data from the rovers shows that in clear, convincing, and compelling evidence. And
Andy, just quickly, we didn't even really get into or touch Mars, and I'd love to do that possibly on a future show if we could do. I mean, you just have so much information that I think we could fill half a dozen shows quite easily.
Right, I'd be happy to come back, and I'm focusing on Pegasus. I need to get the book written that is completed. I'm going to be soon be going into a sabbatical from my law practice to achieve that. But
yes, you're moving into a cabin in the woods, and we're going to load you up with food and nourishment and some water, and you're just going to stay in the cabin until the book's done.
Yeah, actually, it's going to be a nicer setting than that. I don't want to reveal where it is, but
no, that's fine.
I do pledge to get the book out by middle of next year.
That was an old Facebook joke from your Facebook page. I remember.
I remember that. Yes, I know. And I'm not just trying to create drama. Really, I've just been surviving as a lawyer in solo practice. But the good news is I have the story down, so it's not going to be lost to the sands of time. I mean, the fundamental story about Project Pegasus has already been captured and is in writing. I just have to sort of weave it now into a narrative, a complete narrative. But so that's going to, 2011 is going to be the year when my book comes out and shows the world that time travel was achieved 40 years ago, and now we have to demand that the U.S. government acknowledge that it declassify teleportation, and that we begin talking about a global program of technology transfer where we can start relying on teleportation to get from point A to point B on the face of our planet in real time.
That would have a dramatic effect on humanity as a whole. Like just the amount of things we could move to third world countries to help them through the means of teleportation, that's incredible.
Imagine a famine situation. Yeah, imagine a famine situation where you don't lose so much overhead in the administration of the charity, but you simply identify a staging area in an area where the famine is occurring, and you start throwing food provision through a vortal tunnel in time space. And the aid workers just pick up the food there and distribute it locally. That would be so much more efficient that even the inefficiency of food transport around the world would probably eliminate famine. So yes, there are all kinds of pro-social purposes of teleportation. Of course, we'd have to administer it in a controlled way, just like we administer air travel. We don't let terrorists, criminals, or 3-year-olds fly airplanes, right?
No.
So the administration of teleportations would be, again, on a limited access basis, just like we would want to control chronovision, because if we didn't, there would be no more privacy left in the world. So, but we have to use these technologies basically to force the paradigm shift we're going to have to make to even survive as a planetary civilization, much less thrive in the 21st century.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for your time, Andrew, and thank you everybody for listening. If you missed the show or any part of the show,
I was telling you, right, how it felt in the heat at my age,
Yeah.
90 to 100 degrees, stuck with nothing to drink up there, Pardon Ways Cemetery, trying to put the sign up.
Yeah.
And my arm had to dig through roots, and the rocks kept falling back inside because, you know, the gravity of the vertical hole was no bigger than the poles. The poles were 10 by 4 by 4.
You said 10 by 10.
No, 10 inches by 10 inches by 10 feet.
Okay.
And they had to go in 4 feet. And I had no real tools, shovels to do this with. And it was so, because the woods, there was so many roots. Roots like you wouldn't believe, but they didn't break. It's like a fishing rod, man. You couldn't break them. You had to get the saw, and I had a little, I had just the things I needed. A saw for the wall, sheetrock, one of those pointy one hand saws, and I was cutting the roots with that, which wasn't easy because it wasn't made to cut roots, wet roots. And as I went down, it kind of got like you can't see, it's down there. And the heat was cooking up there while my arm was actually like an air conditioner down there. It was cool, you know, damp, cool. And I had nothing to drink that was making me worried that, man, I'm working so hard, sweating. I might have a heart attack and end up finding me here. But something told me that there was help down there. There was something telling me things or driving me to keep going. So that whole day, hot as it was, went through the whole day till night was coming. Mosquitoes started attacking. You know how bad it is up there with mosquitoes. But I kept going. I actually painted the sign and put the letters up Pardon Ways before I left. And somehow I did that. Now here's the thing about it. Then, what was the place you came along, right? The Synchronicity.
Oh, yeah, Synchronicity.
Yeah,
Newport?
Okay, yeah, we went to Newport, and we were going to film the Black Patriot thing, because I was there at the dedication. We were going to film the, what do they call it, the dedication memorial for the Black Patriots in Rhode Island. And that memorial had this big door and an image of an African American and stuff. You saw it, you went up there, we filmed it. But it happened to be on the same day that they were having the New England Fatherhood Conference at a luxury hotel. And we said, let's go over there and interview and find out if these people are going to do anything about creating jobs or taking healthy. Because you wasn't working at that time. You was having home. You just got evicted or something like that.
The job situation at that time, because I wanted to go to I told them a month and a half in advance that I'm going to go to a fatherhood conference. They said, yeah, then when that weekend came and I wasn't there, he fired me. Driving that cab, that's why.
It ain't synchronicity, it is the bad part. I tried to explain to you about when you meet resistance, that's when you was learning. Meeting resistance means that you're moving. Because you can't move without breaking the resistance.
That's right.
And the more resistance you meet, that means you're moving faster and faster. Eventually that picks up friction and heat, and either you burn up like a star comet, or you break through to another, you make it.
Another level.
Right. Now here's the part about that. After we did the films and stuff and posted and did that thing, none of these people respond. We went to a dedication of the Prince Hall Masons.
Massasoit, up in Massasoit there, right?
No, that was the Massasoit College.
Okay.
When we was invited by Ken Sutcliffe, he's the professor, and he's a member of the Pilgrim Society because his family bloodline. And he's also a member of Sons of the American Revolution. But he's a professor at the college. And he invited us up there, me and Eddie, to do a little thing, and I brought the first DVD there. That's why you see a picture of that woman teacher, professor, pointing and talking about it. This is what we need! You know, stuff, and still they ain't ordered no damn DVD. But anyway, long story short, alright, get back to the Black Patriot Memorial, because Up there, we caught them lying like a sucker, man. They said they were doing this and doing, and then eventually he finally admitted. Well, we go there and we network. All this stuff is posted on YouTube. Now, here's another thing: the synchronicity tying anything. Now, what was the last thing we was talking about? You were saying he was on.
All right, we were standing in a place. I think they said, what was his name? Prince Hall was inducted.
That's another stone monument, you know, memorial.
I mean,
on the ley line.
You know.
I mean, that was right under the tree where George Washington started the army.
Yeah, where he started the army.
Continental Army. Yeah.
And I felt like as when everybody was grabbing me, I started having this out of breath.
Dad, come on. Eddie, where are you? They doing a hollow ground over here? Yeah. If you can go, Eddie, you're blocking the shade. And if you can back up a little, no, just you. There you go. We want the light on it.
Out of body experience.
Yeah, but before we even got there, the three of us was heading there. They somehow snatched you up. Me and Eddie was still trying to catch our breath to get in front to take pictures. They were already taking pictures and had you posing. When you said something happened to you.
Yeah, something definitely happened.
What happened?
Well, standing there, I felt sort of like a vibration at first. Like my body started shaking and then it just started, but I wasn't moving. The inside was shaking, but I wasn't moving.
Great.
And then all of a sudden, I felt like I started being lifted off my feet. And I'm trying to make sure now. I'm shaking this one's hand, giving out brochures and business cards at the same time. Shaking this one's hand.
Now you got your colonial patriot uniform on, right?
Full garb.
Full garb.
Now as I'm doing this, the next thing I know, I guess I'm not exactly sure how high he is up the chain, but you see the picture there with the big man.
Let me cut you for a minute and throw this in there. Remember, it was hot.
Yes.
Summertime. You're wearing that hot costume. Hot costume. You were in an altered state because there was nothing to drink there.
That's right.
Okay, now pick up where you were.
Now when I went to take the pictures with these big fellas.
Who were they?
I'm not even sure what their names were.
Well, you had you had the worshipful masters there. You had the card said you had the 54th Civil War Regiment, Masonic Regiment, and you had these men with the aprons and suit. What were they? Master Masons, I guess they were.
Yeah.
And they was standing behind you.
Yes.
And I remember telling these two Master Masons, stand back, a little directing them, but because Eddie got tired, so at the same time he felt dizzy, and I was taking pictures.
And under that tree, that's when it happened.
And here's the funny part: on the camera when we got back was this what do you call electrical digital form that moved across the video. And both me and Eddie said, "Damn, you feel that?"
And you were talking about the synchronicity between that and how Eddie was feeling dizzy down there, and I was having this thing happen to me where I was coming out of my body.
And I'm picking it up on camera. I'm picking it up on camera. Then I asked you to pose after they took pictures and shit. Pose inside where they had these tall black slabs with the writing inside, and they were curved, and they were standing like Stonehenge without the top, and you had to stand in it. Now, what did that feel like?
There was a surge of energy I've never felt. Just standing in there, I didn't know what the hell that was. You could see it on my face. When I stood it there and I said, "Wow," you could see it on my face.
I got the pictures already posted, but here's the funny part. After we took the pictures, and you came out of that little spot there, right? We all went towards the sidewalk in front of the plaque they have in front of the tree. I never looked at the plaque or nothing, but I took pictures of people doing that. And I don't know what it said, but I noticed a steeple. And I went over to a steeple, monument, stone monument with a big tallest people. And I took a picture of it. And it was Abraham Lincoln, I think it was. No, yeah, it was Abraham. Well, anyway, it was one of them presidents. And it had a 5-pointed star. And we know that George Washington, star family, 5-pointed star. That's the family crest. And I took that picture and I went back and looked at that and stuff, and I'm saying, now how does all this link together? How does it fit together? And we came back and remember, this is the funny part. I think they had the 4th of July parade, the oldest one in the country in Bristol. And I says, man, we're going to go up there and march with the flag upside down. It's at the end of the thing, when everybody marched by, we're going to get at the tail end and let them know they forgot us, right? But we didn't do that. We played it cool, because that would have been controversial, because all of it, but it would have got up to a lot of people, but the wrong people.
But at the same time, when that No More Murder March happened, and that the flag was upside down, all the reporters cut it out.
They cut out every bit of the march.
Yes, all remnants.
You had the brightest costume out here, holding the flag up, and not one thing showed
Even
on
had
TV.
3-4 cops walking on the side of me.
Hey, the damn TV picks what they want to put on TV. All right?
Exactly.
And I mean, we can stop here, but the synchronicity goes on. Here you are stuck at crossroads because you lost your apartment. Why? Because we went to Amos House and a few organizations to offer them the Future Image program to help create jobs.
Exactly.
You lost your apartment because they condemned the house. The cops come in and said the landlord ain't legal. I bet he was probably a cop himself.
Probably so, had everything hooked up on the ground. I mean, how the hell did
you lost your apartment? You ended up in all kinds of situations, but the worst part was you ended up in Crossroads. But what was that all about? That was because Crossroad is to me, I call it the concentration camp or the processing camp for FEMA. Because when you go there, this is supposed to be for the homeless people. But when I did the homework, I found out the CEO of the Journal. Now, I know why the TV didn't cover it. But the newspaper, we only got one in Providence. The Journal, Providence Journal, CEO, happens to be the CEO of Crossroads on the board there. And he ties into...
He's hustling hard.
And he ties into, dig this, some corporation on that board that sits with him is, or one of the firms is called Master and Slaves. And I'm literally spelling
downstairs with the slaves.
And it says, when you do your homework on the internet search, you see it says 50 insurance, I think they call them agents. They go back 1,000 years. I said, what? And then I went and checked out, well, what happened to that company? Turns out the company sold to another company, a brokerage firm, Wall Street brokerage firm, in 2010. And not only did they sold it to them, but it turns out this firm is worldwide, but its office is up in Warwick. Well, guess who else is on the board of Crossroads? The mayor of Warwick. Now, how far does this go back? Well, I remember Plymouth kicked out some guy that was preaching something up there, and he came here and settled in Rhode Island. And then when they kicked out Roger Williams out of Plymouth, he came here, and the guy that was here went to Warwick and became the founder of Warwick. So there's a tie-in here, something going on here that, well, what happened at Crossroads? I want you to tell this story.
Which story?
You told me about a kid jumped out the window or something.
Oh, yeah.
So what I did is I sent you with the camera to go find out what happened.
Yeah, you're talking about Corey, 9th floor, room 917. December 25th, he jumped out the window, 9 stories, dead instantly. His birthday was the day before.
Day before. Now this is funny. We posted that video on YouTube, but it was the best investigation reporting So I sent that clip of the witnesses and testimony, all the evidence, and a clip to Channel 12, Channel 10, Channel 6, news. And you can't really send directly to the people. You have to go through their forms that's on the online thing. And some amateur reader or whatever, or somebody works for an aide or intern, looks at it and calls me up and says, can you be more clear or specific what you want us to investigate? And I said,
the investigations are
right, but we're used to them saying, can you clarify this or can you document
everything
that?
should have been documented.
Well, the video's right there.
It's right
All
there.
right, but think this. She says, tell it to me anyway. So I told her, I said, well, let's go back to the 9/11. I was contracted to do a fatherhood program in coordination with JobLink on Elmwood Ave in Providence and the child support enforcement. And I also had to rewrite the curriculum that they had because they were using welfare to work, job creating program. And the book was biased, slanderous, gender-wise. So we had to put in or change so that we could use the same format but make it more compatible for both sexes. Anyway, mostly for fathers, because there was nothing in there good for fathers. So that, and we created a website. But the fathers were the contributors, owners of this information. All this information came from us working this issue out. And they only had 3 weeks. And in those 3 weeks, they had to find a job or they were going to jail. So we also had to train them how to get an interview, get a job. I didn't teach them that. I taught them how to pay their child support. Okay? And I taught them the Jim's thing and some other things. But it worked. And we got an 85% success rate. They sent me another batch of 15 guys. And again, 85% success. But now they want to control over the website and the manuscript and the password and all that. And the men voted no. So guess what? I lost my job. Just like when we went to Amos House. I was working at Dorcas, went to Amos House with the program. What they do? We showed them samples and videos. Their computers couldn't even watch. It was so messed up they couldn't even watch the video. So, but the point is that they loved it. They even called their job training director there, come in and watch the video and listen. He came in and interrupted the presentation, talking about how'd you do that? How? And she had to shut him up.
That's what I'm saying. Where is the professionalism when you go to do these tasks?
I wonder what he gets paid here. I wonder what them two get paid. Anyway, long story short, when we got back out of that shit, they were supposed to get in touch with us. Instead, what did they do? I got laid off and you lost your apartment. Ended up in Crossroads. You found out what happened up there because you lived there. That's synchronicity. This is all being guided by this energy, this force that we called upon to help us. And I think this is not something that I know, especially because by you doing the interview, I saw you doing it on your own, in your own way. And you're not even like the same way when you're around me and Eddie. So evidently you have your own Merc or ship, whatever you want to call it, because you're in your world and you're free. You understand and you're awake and aware. Now, what's the last thing we did? OIC.
OIC.
Right across the street.
Right across the street.
Then finally they let us have a space to do a presentation. When I first went there, the guy was all excited and saying, yeah, this is right up our alley. And I was thinking, man, I'm going to get a space, an empty building, brand new. It used to be the Boy Scout, huge. And when you walk in the door, you see the geometric star right there in mosaic on the floor. And when you go in there, and you see all this space, nobody's there. A few classes going on. And he's saying, yeah, we can help you. 3 days go by, I don't hear from him.
I gotta ask you some things, man. Now, even though something would have happened there, maybe a fight break out or something to that extent, you just tell class is over, that's it.
Well, that's the excuse they use, but we did get to use it.
Yeah, and I can't help but think because of, you know, you don't want like me to bring up this part, but this person from the past that she happened to be there and
oh yeah, that's right.
That's, you know,
this woman that you bumped into when you went to some
yes.
green training program.
Yes.
Supposed to give you a job, and
yes.
she's Patricia Hayes.
That's right.
She was my boss at the fatherhood program on JobLink.
That's right.
They even had the nerve to call me when they closed down the place. When I left, they had to close it down. Mm-hmm. Called me, asked me if I could help her get a job at Dorcas Place. Yes. But here she is now at OIC, right? Now we're weaving a nice story here, so I hope people appreciate the kind of material we're dealing with, right? This is the African weave that's in the African slave cloth, you know, the tribes. They carried a little pattern. You know what I'm saying? The pattern. Anyway, check this out. Here we got this woman that she's saying, oh yeah, I started, I had her only program, and she was talking about my program. And never mentioned me.
Listening.
Never mentioned me.
And think I don't know
and
the
you're
truth.
sitting there listening.
And I'm saying, and I'm shooting questions at her just to see what she's going to say, because she put herself out there, so I'm shooting questions. No, I was the one who created it. You sure it wasn't this person through that place, through this place, through that place? No, it was me. And it was, I said, wow, you created a fatherhood program, but you're a female, no offense. They want to say, now this, okay, we're done.
and then to see that she ain't working there, or she's down at OIC.
She must be down at
OIC. They're all friends. They're all friends.
Well, exactly, because when I walked in there and I turned around and I looked at her, she knew who I was. You can't tell me you supposedly taught somebody, but you don't know who that person is when you walk in that building? Come on now, that's not.
Hey, and now, after you tell me that, the man's saying, well, I can't give you no space. I said, but you told me we could have oh yeah, you can have that on the 6th. But that's all I can promise you. The place is full up. Mm-hmm. Okay, so no, we didn't give crap. We knew what we were going to go do anyway. And that's the document the future image commercial. Hopefully, 50 guys will come out, like he said, 50 to 100 guys will come out of class and they'll join, because it's over at 4, our meeting was at 4. Mm-hmm. They'll come over and get a free DVD or fill out a form or stay for the presentation. And we film it, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. We get there, there was nobody yet.
Nobody's there. Now, I say firmly, I don't believe in coincidences. There's no such thing as a coincidence here.
Nobody at the door.
Nobody was at the door.
Doors open.
No security.
Nobody at the
security.
No people.
No people. No teachers. What's going on?
Good thing I sent you ahead of time to know where to set up.
Yeah.
So we go and set up, right? Put the flyers up. It's all on the video. And one of the guys that I had invited shows up. Walter was there, Karen was there, and they had the tables for them, giving pencils and the forms to fill out and DVDs and shit. And everything was there nice, postcards, and nobody's showing up. Then finally this guy comes in and says, there's a problem, he'll be here soon. He didn't tell us nothing about the classes being dismissed or nothing. And he starts talking to Karen. he wouldn't let her go, man.
No, because he didn't want to talk about it.
He kept talking to Karen. We went and set up the whole thing while he sat there and talked to Karen. Mm-hmm. She looked a little annoyed, but she went along with it. And then here's the funny part. When he did show up, I says, you know something? This guy's going to tell me something bad. And I can see it on his face. He doesn't want to. He's been avoiding this. So he comes over and he tells me, I know I told you there'd be a lot of people here, but you won't believe this. I went to lunch. This is the story. I went to lunch. When I came back, I found out there was an altercation between the students, and the police had been here, and they vacated. We shut down the place and dismissed the classes, and everybody went home. And I says, why?
happen, man. You gotta, like, that way you can dismiss all the classes and send everybody home. So you went, what time did you go to lunch, first of all? Did you take a late lunch?
I know, because we didn't get there till 3:30.
We didn't get there till about 3:30. I mean, God.
Well, maybe this is when the incident happened. It might have happened at 12. So that means he was around. He knew I was going to be there at 4. He came, and he told me. Now I says, okay, you mind if I take a picture with you? Oh, no. And we posed for that picture. Now, the kid comes in, and we tell him what we're doing. I said, you mind if you participate in this? He don't know nothing. He just knows that I invited him for a job creation seminar. So he's got his paper filled out. He's ready to do just like any other job application. And I says, do you mind volunteering for a minute? And we did the shoot, okay? Which is, again, posted on YouTube. All right? All the stuff will be posted on CapeVerdean.net and Rhode Island First Father, and any place else I can post it. Because we're going to tear the city apart with all the corruption. And if we keep bumping into these people, it seems like a RICO should be enacted, because they all know each other. They talk and conspire.
Let's call these people, these entities running around amongst us.
They want that
but
money.
are not playing by.
Well, the same applies to adults. And this is one of the things that we encourage for the future image of the Rhode Island First Father. If they have no jobs and no other way of supplementing income, you certainly can get by on your own deeds. If you're like going out there, you can go out anytime you want. You can make your products at home. We teach you the course. Within 24 hours, you're ready to go. Now, courses can be conducted in the house, but it would cost you expense for us to go there and bring our stuff and supplies of $50 per person. All right, and if they decide they want to go in business, the first plaque they make will cover the cost of the course. So you don't lose any money really, because you can always hang it up on the wall and show people the beautiful plaque that you have that will withstand all kinds of damage and heat and fires and tornadoes, and the process is made for the 21st century. And you might have when there's a fire or when there's a hurricane or tornado or flood, people always wish they had saved their photos, or this will survive. All right. Also, you got to keep in mind, when you're taking down them trees, pretty soon wood's going to be so expensive. And here you got a picture that's mounted on wood and sealed hermetically, so that it doesn't get any air, water, or moisture or anything, so it stays exactly the way it's supposed to be. That's a future image picture. Alright. Now we can take your old furniture as well and custom design, personalized images, names, logos, converted from old-fashioned to different designs. We work with you on that. And small businesses, we build websites and maintain the website, email, for a very small fee. We'll take the pictures of your business, and you can give us the information, and we do all this for you. And if you want to take care of your own website once we build it for you, it's a lot cheaper, but we'll maintain it for you for less than $10 a month. And we'll change to whatever you see on there every week or whenever you feel like it. So we can help small businesses as well. Use homeowners. We have another service. We install, distribute, and do technical service on wind turbines. We sell these wind turbines that are manufactured right here in the good old USA. These turbines also have solar panels, if you would like, but it produces enough energy to run your home. In fact, you can run your neighborhood. So if you're interested in a job of selling, distributing, or being a technician in installation, we have those positions available. And homeowners, if you just want to save a lot of money, if not, make some, then get in touch with us. These were designed for home, maximum output. You'll love it. Just give us a call. Thank you.